All right. Well, welcome to Barnes & Noble. My name is Peaches. I thank you for coming out. I thank you for braving the unpredictable weather. We are very honored to have with us two favorites of the New York literati. I know you're not from New York, but we live here.
He's honorary.
We live here.
I got jumped in the game.
They are both best-selling novelists, literary award winners, playwrights, also been magazine editors, and college professors.
Ooh.
Man. Joe Meno is a former musician and music columnist whose Hairstyles of the Damned was a selection of the Barnes & Noble Discover Great New Writers program. And his boy Detective Fails has been a fixture on our paperbacks favorites for a long time.
All right.
He's also very modest.
He is great. His short fiction has been widely published and broadcast on National Public Radio. According to Publishers Weekly, his new work...
to you? NPR?
According to Publishers Weekly, his new work, Demons in the Spring, is a stellar collection which succeeds word to word, sentence to sentence, and cover to cover. Arthur Nersesian is a native New Yorker, widely accepted as a quintessential observer of the city and its characters. His best-selling The Fuck Up became a cult classic, and his novel Unlubricated received the Anahid Literary Prize. Is that right?
Sure.
Close.
Yeah.
I tried.
I never heard of it until they gave it to me. No, but I'm honored to have it.
For immediate literature. His new novel, Sacrificial Circumcision of the Bronx, is the second volume in his series, The Five Books of Moses. He once said in an interview that I hate doing readings where I'm introduced as the writer, so we won't make that mistake here. We'll just refer to him as Jennifer Bell, the author of High Maintenance, has the Generation's Mark Twain.
Oh, okay.
So please join me in welcoming Joe Meno and Arthur Nersesian.
Yeah.
New York City. Is that all? There's no more introduction? There's a lot of other things I did. I just cleaned my bathroom. It was a huge job. Who's going to go first? Or
Yeah, no, it's your town, man.
So
I insist.
you-
I
so-
insist on going first.
Yeah, so go first.
Okay.
So go, man.
I'll stand up. Can you stand back so it looks like there's 100 people? Like get down behind this guy's shoulder, Mike's shoulder.
Just get a bunch of people together.
Just being silly. Well, thanks so much for coming out on kind of a stormy Friday night. It's a pleasure to read with Arthur again and to be here. So I'm gonna read a short story, maybe inspired a little bit by the weather. It's from this collection. It's 20 short stories that I wrote, and then we got 20 different artists to do illustrations for the story. People like Charles Burns and Archer Pruitt, Jay Ryan, a lot of different graphic artists, comic book artists, fine artists to contribute art. And then the proceeds from the book go to benefit 826 Chicago, which is a tutoring and learning center in Chicago. So I'll just read a short story, maybe give you a sense of what some of the mood or tone of the pieces are. This is a short one called People Are Becoming Clouds. People are becoming clouds nowadays. Each time John goes to kiss his wife Eleanor simply laughs politely into the palm of her hand and immediately turns into a puff of soft white vapor. The vapor is quite odorless and can assume various shapes and sizes. It can still understand when it's being spoken to, the vapor. It can understand whenever John begins wordlessly crying. One time while holding hands at the airport, John, without thinking, kissed Eleanor's soft cheek, and immediately she turned into a puff of charming whiteness that resembled a young pony leaping over a fence post. It seemed that the pony was neighing from the way its long neck was stretched and raised. Someone took a picture of the cloud and it ended up on the second page of the next day's newspaper. As a cloud of vapor, Eleanor will remain transparent for upwards of an hour or more. Her appearance may vary greatly depending on various strange, unknowable factors such as the weather, what she has eaten that day, what she happens to be wearing, etc. When she is not a cloud of white smoke, Eleanor is a first-grade school teacher who is greatly loved by her students as well as almost anyone else she meets, including strangers who pass her on the street. She's that type of striking young woman. She has short red hair and bright eyes like a pixie. She laughs the way you imagine a toy dog laughing. It should be noted that Eleanor had never turned into a cloud before the couple was married, and this unplanned development has been a silent source of frustration for John. A partial list of the strange shapes Eleanor has taken as a cloud of vapor. a dove with enormous wings blowing a large trumpet, an intricate snowflake with castles for feet, a swan with an impossibly long neck that was sewing a blanket, a fairly accurate representation of an angel with rings of spoons for a halo, and finally, a gigantic apple being swallowed by a ghostly white tiger. Eleanor claims that turning into a cloud is totally beyond her control. John does not entirely believe this. Right before she transforms, she seems to be laughing, and her laughter is what leaves John unconvinced. But he refuses to argue about it. He loves her, and he thinks she loves him, and he believes it's just one of those things that will have to work itself out. Couples probably go through these kinds of things all the time, he thinks. John and Eleanor will sometimes try to be intimate. They will turn off the lights and put on some soft music. It will maybe be some jazz, sometimes not. John will lay there in their white bed and close his eyes and wait for his wife to touch his body. And when she does, he will try to stop himself from running his fingers through her hair, and he will even be able to resist her for a little while. But if she's wearing a pink and brown nightgown, he will eventually grope her. And within moments, she will be drifting high, high above him. He will lay in bed then and stare up at her, a white cloud of happiness condensing and then expanding. He will reach his hands up to grab her, but he will be unable to. He will try to breathe her in, to take her into his lungs, but his face will only become red until finally he gives up. He will turn on his stomach and want to cry into the pillow, but he will not. He will be too embarrassed to cry. When he finally turns over, he will see Eleanor has become a snowy white falcon, eating a peach or a series of lovely hills decorated with a miniature cloud town. He will wait lying there in bed and fumble with her discarded nightgown until she drifts back down. John will sometimes